What's up, Switch? Woo! In case we haven't had the opportunity to meet yet, my name is Preston, and I get the privilege of being your associate youth pastor here at Switch. And here at Switch, we are in a new collection of sermons called Keep Digging. This is week 2 of Keep Digging. And last week, what we did is we started to dig in the soil to see if we can find our purpose. But here's the thing. You can't start digging for something until you know how to identify it, because you're just going to be digging and you're going to be digging and you're going to pass it and you might not be able to see it. So last week, here's what we did. We found out how to identify our purpose. We talked about what purpose looks like. We talked about what purpose sounds like. And we talked about what purpose feels like. And that was a great time. But this week, we're going to hop into something that I'm super excited about. So in case y'all didn't know this, there are 2 kinds of people that carry in groceries. There's the first kind who carry what they can, and then there's a second kind who carry every single grocery all at once. Is there any of y'all in here the second kind? Like y'all carry everything all at once? Oh, all of y'all are. Okay, bet. If I ever have groceries, I'm gonna hit y'all up because we're gonna get all these things moved in. And here's the thing. I've attempted to do that a couple times, and normally I misjudge how heavy the groceries are. And so what happens is you're sitting there and you have these bags, and they're these cheap Walmart bags, and you're trying to get to the door, and the bags are getting stretched so much that they're becoming like dental floss almost, you know what I'm talking about? And you're sitting there and you're staring at your skin and you're like, I don't know if the bag's gonna break or if it's just gonna cut through my arms. I'm not really for sure, but I'm definitely not doing 2 trips, right? And here's the thing about carrying in groceries is every time I've done it, at least, I'll only carry in the groceries if I have a short distance to go. Right? I'm not gonna carry every single grocery if I gotta walk a mile. It's like, why is that? It's because if you're gonna carry everything, you can't go long distances. And so last week what we did was we looked at how to start digging for our purpose. And if you started digging, you're gonna find out that you probably actually pulled out a lot more than you thought you did, right? If you start digging, you're gonna actually have quite a bit to work with. And if you did that, congratulations. I'm proud of you. Thank you for doing the work. I'm glad that you're here. But here's the truth. If I'm going to go a long distance, I can't take this whole thing with me. It's too heavy. It can't all come with me. So what we're going to do this week is we're going to start sifting through the things that we dug up last week. And so if you don't know what a sift is, it is this guy right here. So what we're going to be able to do is we're going to go through and we're gonna pick up what we got, and we're just gonna start sifting. We're just gonna start moving this thing, and what's gonna happen is all the things that we don't need, that we can't carry long distance, are gonna fall through, and what we're left with is gonna be what we're gonna focus on. This is gonna be how we're gonna find our purpose. So what we're gonna do this week is we're gonna start building one of these, okay? Metaphorically, we aren't really gonna leave with one of these, but we're gonna start building one. So how do we build a sift? Well, our sift is gonna be made up mostly of questions, right? And here's the thing. Even if you don't follow Jesus yet, even if you've never made the decision to start following Jesus with your life, maybe you're new, maybe you've been here for a while and you just haven't made the decision yet for whatever reason, what's super cool about this is these points will actually work regardless. This is like a natural thing. When you start running these plays, you will start to find purpose. So we're gonna build the first layer of our sift. The first layer is you're gonna start talking to yourself. So you're gonna take the things that you have in your hand, you're gonna take all of this stuff, and you're gonna look at the things that you think might be your purpose, and you're gonna start asking yourself some questions. Here's the questions you're gonna ask yourself. The first one is, why do I want to do this thing? Why do I wanna do the thing that I'm doing? Is it guitar? Are you a musician? Are you an athlete? Why do you want to do the thing though? Is it because one day you know it's gonna get you a lot of money? Is it because one day you think that it might get you some fame? Is it because one day it's gonna impress some people? Is it because your parents like that you do it? Or is it because you like to do it? Is it because it's fun? Ask yourself honestly, why do I want to do this thing? And no matter what your answers are for that, you still need to get through the whole thing before you get a really direct answer. But a good answer for this, and I heard a preacher say this the other day, is someone asked him, why do you preach? Do you do it to be seen? And his answer, I thought, was incredible. If this is your answer for the thing you're holding, you might have some purpose. But he said, I preach because I can't help it. I preach because I can't help it. He said, even if I didn't have a platform, even if I didn't have a church that I was the lead pastor of, even if I never had a microphone in my hand, you couldn't stop me from going out and telling people about all the good things God has done in my life. You couldn't stop me from trying to get people to Jesus because I've seen him work in my life. Are you doing it because you can't help it? Why are you doing the thing that you're doing? The second question is, how does it feel whenever you do it? Do you have joy? Do you have peace? Like when you're doing it, does it really just feel right? Is it the thing that really like takes away some of the chaos for you? Like when you start doing it, it seems like everything kind of fades away. Does it bring clarity? Like when you do it, does it feel like you're made to do it? How does it feel is our second one. Our third one is, what is it producing for you? Is it producing money? Is it a side hustle? Is it making some money for you? Is it producing followers on Instagram? What is it producing for you? And here's the thing is, the fourth question I have is, who is better because of what you're doing? Who is made better because of what you're doing? If you're taking notes, your gifts in the proper context will always make people better. If you are doing the thing that you are called to do, it's going to make people better. That is God's dream for the gift that he gave for you, is that people around you will have more joy. People around you will be able to see Jesus in you. People around you will be able to take steps closer to God because of the gift that he put inside you. If you are walking out your purpose, it is going to make the people around you better. And so these are the questions. This is a great starting point. You ask yourself all of these questions, I promise you will get to a conclusion and you will feel like you have made some ground. But here's the thing. It can't just stop with you. You have to invite other people into your story. It says it like this in Jeremiah 17, verse 9. It says, the human heart is the most deceitful of all things and desperately wicked. Who really knows how bad it is? See, the thing is if you keep asking yourself questions, eventually you're going to come to a question that you don't like. You're going to come to a conclusion that you don't like. And no matter how honest you think you can be with yourself, it is in our human nature to avoid those questions. It is in our human nature to avoid those answers. And so you'll keep asking the questions and you'll keep trying to get the answers, but like you'll keep dodging this one because you don't really want to like step there because it doesn't feel very good, right? You can't really get yourself there. And you'll just keep doing that and you'll get to a spot where you feel like you're in a rut where you can't get any further than this. It's because you have to invite people into your life. No matter how self-aware you think that you are, you can't see yourself clearly. Proverbs 15:22 says this. It says, plans fail for a lack of counsel, but with many advisors, they will succeed. With many advisors, they will succeed. If you're taking notes, what I want to let you know is that the call of God requires people. The call of God requires people. Whenever I was in 6th grade, I actually thought that I was going to play basketball in the NBA. Like, yeah, y'all are already laughing at me. Yeah, so I don't have to explain. Y'all know why. That's ridiculous. But I didn't know that. I couldn't see myself clearly. I really thought that if I just really worked on my handles, like I was going to be up there, like KD wouldn't have nothing on me. But it turns out being 5'8" probably won't get you into the NBA, no matter how good you are. And so you have to invite people into your story. No matter how clearly you think you see yourself, you do not see yourself clearly, I promise you. And some of you are like, okay, I'd be open to the possibility of asking people questions about myself, but like, how do I find people? I don't have any people. Like, who would I even go to? You can't think of someone right now that you would go to. And what I want to let you know is that if you really don't have anyone, I can assure you that you can find them here. And the reason why I can assure you that is because you have 50 leaders who are here for this reason. They are here to see the call of God on your life flourish. They are here to see the gifts in your life grow. And they want to be here to answer the questions. They want to be here to watch you grow. They want to be here to help you along on that journey. It's how I found my people. You have access to everything that I had access to. That's why this place exists. That's why we're here. And our hope is that that's what this place could be. It's a place where you can find the people in your life that can shoot you straight, that can walk you through the call of God on your life, and you can find out that we're here for you. It's your tribe leaders. Just ask them. Start asking them questions. Well, what do I ask them? How do I know what to ask these people? I'm glad you asked. I have 2 questions for you that you can ask these people. Here's the 2 questions. The first one is, I would ask, what do you think I'm most gifted at? What do you think I'm most gifted at? This can actually be a really, really dope question to ask people, because like they'll probably start pointing out stuff that you don't even know. You'll be like, oh, I didn't really realize that. Like no one's really told me that I'm good at dancing before. Oh, no one's really told me that I'm articulate whenever I speak. Oh, no one's really told me. And you can start getting some really cool answers. You can actually find some things out about yourself. This is where your self-awareness grows. When you start asking other people, I would ask, what am I most gifted at? The second thing I would ask is, how do I maximize how much fruit this thing is producing? And by fruit, we just mean like good things that it's producing. Like if you were to do this, how would you maximize how this thing would produce fruit? And this is like my favorite part of these questions, because then you can really get some action steps. Like, okay, like you actually really are good at guitar, but if you ever want to get to the next level, I would start taking lessons with this person, right? No, you are a really good athlete, but like I think maybe it's time for you to get a trainer to help you with this part of. I guess I don't know much about athletes, but you will get some really practical next steps for what to do. This is like my favorite part of it. And so once you've asked yourself these questions, once you've talked to yourself, and once you've talked to some other people, really the voice that we're trying to get in our life is God's voice. Like at some point, you really need to learn to lean into God's voice for you. But the thing about God's voice is sometimes it's actually really hard to hear, right? This is why talking to people matters. Because all throughout Scripture, we see that God speaks through people. He speaks through Moses when he tells the Pharaoh to let the Israelites go. It's a whole group of people freed from slavery because God spoke through someone. He speaks through Paul whenever Paul is writing the New Testament. The Bible that we have today is mostly written by someone who God was speaking through. And what I want to let you know is that God didn't stop. He's the same God today that he was back then. God is speaking through people for you. He wants to get to you so bad. He wants to see the gifts in your life flourish so bad. He wants to see the call that he put on your life get to where it needs to be so bad that he will speak to other people to get to you. God will speak through people. And here's the thing, is when you talk to yourself, you ask yourself these questions and you start talking to other people, you'll start to see this Venn diagram kind of take place. And in the middle of those things, where those things meet is where you'll be able to find God's voice. And we actually see this happen in Scripture. It happens in 1 Samuel 3, verses 3 through 10. It says, the lamp of God had not yet gone out, and Samuel was lying down in the house of the Lord where the ark of God was. Then the Lord called to Samuel. Samuel answered, "Here I am." And he ran to Eli, who was his mentor. He was living with him. Eli was a priest. And said, "Here I am, you called me." But Eli said, "I did not call. Go back and lay down." So he went and he lay down. Again, the Lord called Samuel. And Samuel got up and went to Eli and said, "Here I am, you called me." "My son," Eli said, "I did not call. Go back and lie down." Now Samuel did not yet know the Lord, because the word of the Lord had not yet been revealed to him. A third time, the Lord called Samuel, and Samuel got up. He went to Eli and he said, "Here I am, you called me." Then Eli realized that the Lord was calling the boy. So Eli told Samuel, "Go and lie down, and if he calls you, say, 'Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening.'" So Samuel went and he lay down in his place. The Lord came and stood there, calling as he did at the other times, "Samuel, Samuel." Then Samuel said, "Speak, for your servant is listening." So pretty much what happened in the story is Samuel's living with Eli. Eli's a priest, like I said, and he's he's trying to go to sleep, and he's a boy at the time. And like, he just keeps hearing this voice saying, Samuel, Samuel. And he's getting up and he's running to Eli's room, and he's like, Eli, what are you saying, bro? Like, I was trying to sleep. Like, what do you got for me? And Eli's like, I don't know what you're saying, man. I didn't even say your name. And he's like, go lay back down. So Samuel goes and lays back down. And then he hears his name again, gets back up. Eli, what are you waking me up for? What do you need? And Eli's like, I didn't say your name. Go back to bed. And at this point, I would imagine Samuel's like, bro, this dude's just messing with me. Like, what is going on? Goes back to bed. And a third time, he hears a voice. And he runs in there. And Eli says, Samuel, I didn't say your name. But here's what he did. Samuel went to the person that he trusted. And when he went there, Eli was able to point him in the direction, let him know, no, that's not my voice, that's God's voice. And so the person that Samuel trusted to lead him, the person that Samuel trusted to mentor him, was able to point him towards God. And he didn't just point him to God. He didn't just let him know that was God's voice. No, he challenged him to hear God. If you're taking notes, what I want to let you know is that great people in your life don't want to be God to you. They want to hand you to Jesus. Yeah, they want to hand you to Jesus. Because Eli could have taken that moment and he could have said whatever he wanted to. But he decided, no, I'm going to point Samuel to where he needs to go. And this is the core of what we hope this place is for you. It's a place where you can come in. You can belong before you believe. You can come in not knowing anything about Jesus. You can come in not believing in who Jesus is, and you can come in and you can find out that our God is good. You can come find out that there are leaders here that love you and want the best for you. And when you come to moments in your life when you don't know where to go, you don't know where to turn, you don't know what's happening, we're able to point you towards God. It's not about us. It's not about the wisdom that we can give you. It's not about how we look. It's not about what we're doing. It's about getting you to God. And so whenever we're doing this, whenever we're sifting, right, we're asking all these questions. And like I'm telling you, like eventually you're going to get to the gems in your life. Eventually you're going to get to the purpose in your life. I'm not just telling you this ethereally. I'm telling you this because it's worked for me. See, last year, I actually started a business doing social media management. And it was after I felt like God had called me to quit the job that I was at. And the reason why is I really felt like I just needed more time to be up here at the church. And so I was like, man, I really don't know what to do. And I felt like God had called me. He's like I felt a peace. Like, okay, it's time. So I put in my notice, and the whole time I had this peace, like I knew that God had something for me, right? And so I'm down to my last week. I worked that Friday, and it's my last day. The weekend goes by, and I'm like, God has something for me. I know He has something for me. Well, Monday comes around, and I don't get a call back. I don't get a random job offer. No one even dropped $1,000 in my mailbox randomly. Like nothing like that happened. But throughout that week, some weird things kind of kept coming up. Like I was going through my computer, and I happened to find this logo for a business that I wanted to start when I was in high school. And I was like, I mean, that's kind of weird, but like that actually wouldn't take that much work to do. Like I could get this going, and I could start doing this. And I really felt like, okay, this is the thing that God has for me. He is setting me up for this. And so the ideas start coming, right? And I'm kind of talking to myself. I'm kind of like walking myself through, okay, why do I want to do this? Okay, well, because I want to make money, but also because I want to be at the church. I want to start developing the gift that's on my life. I want to be up here more. I want to do ministry. I want to be a part of that, right? And then start talking to others, start talking to my wife. We get a game plan together. I start talking to Taylor. I kind of ask him, like, do you think this is doable? Like, is this even possible for me? And do this whole thing, and I'm like, okay, yeah, God is on this, right? I get God's voice in the middle of that. And so the first 2 months go by, and I get 2 clients. And I'm like, y'all, God is out here flexing. Like, y'all, 2 clients in 2 months? That's wild. And so it goes by, and I'm like, let's go. Like, God's on this. Like, I knew He'd be on this. Like, it's working. And then I get 6 months into the business, and I have 1 client. It didn't keep growing. I actually lost the other client that I had. And I come back to this moment where like I went from being certain, I went from knowing where I was going, and then like I'm right back here. And I find myself, I'm sifting. I'm asking questions again. I'm questioning myself. I'm questioning, like, did I ever hear God's voice? Like, was I ever even right about that? And I'm sifting. And what I want to let you know is that, like, a lot of times, most of the time, you're not just going to sift once. It's going to be a continual process. There's going to be moments in your life where you have to come back and you got to talk to yourself again. You got to talk to other people again. You got to pray. You got to ask God what to do. And I found out that this works, because I'm sitting here and I'm sifting, and like, y'all don't know how devastated I was at the possibility that I was going to have to stop doing this. Like, I got to a moment where I was like, I'm not going to be able to be at the church anymore, at least as much as I want to. Like, this is really going to put a halt on a lot of the things that I felt like I was really stepping into. Like, I got a taste of what I felt like it meant to walk out the call of God in my life, and I'm going to have to pull it all back because I didn't make a business work, because I didn't hear God's voice properly. And so I'm sifting, and I'm talking, and me and my wife come up with a game plan. And we're like, all right, 6 months in, you have one client, and this is like in November, and it's like, okay, if by December, we had a certain date on a calendar, it's like, if we get to this spot and nothing has changed, like, it's probably just time to do something else. We probably just heard wrong. And what's wild is the biggest reason why one of the biggest reasons why we were thinking about doing this was because at the time, every month we were saving a certain dollar amount. And this was the dollar amount that we needed to save every month so that one day we could put a down payment on the house that we wanted. And we found out, like, we went 6 months without saving anything. And so I felt like I just threw away 6 months worth of, like, our dream pretty much. And so we're like, okay, at this date, we're going to reevaluate. I might have to step into something else. And if I do, that's fine. I just want to get on the plan that God has for me. And we get a month in, and our income doubles. Like, it doubles. And it wasn't anything that I was doing. God was just working some things out. And what's wild is, we didn't just get to a spot where we could save the dollar amount we had before. That dollar amount doubled. So God made up the difference. He made up the 6 months before when we couldn't save anything. In 6 months, we were right back to where we were supposed to be. Why? Because God moves. Why? Because whenever you get in the lane that God has called you to, he will do the thing that he says he is. I promise you. When God says he will do something, he will do it. He is the God that is faithful in his promises. He is the God that will walk you through where you need to be. He is faithful. And the way you get there, the way you get to a place where you hear God's voice clearly, is you start doing this. You start sifting. You start asking yourself questions. You start taking those questions to others, and you pray about it. And my challenge for you, Switch, is this week, let's build some sifts. Let's take those things that we have and let's start sifting through them. And the thing is, you don't even need to chase purpose, because when you chase God, you'll find your purpose. Let's pray.